Recipe for Success on the Closers platform, a show for closers, about closers, with closers. And today, my guest closer is Rick Brown with the Brown Home Group, Keller Williams, Advantage 2 Realty.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
That's a lot. That's a lot. I think we just end the show right now, Rick, because I got that right.
You got it right.
So welcome, and thank you so much. Took us a couple tries to get you here.
It did, and for that reason, I want to say happy Valentine's to everybody out there.
Yes,
and to you for being patient with me. So,
good. I will not be sharing these with anybody.
Don't forget, Valentine's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for coming. So as we talked about, this is my opportunity to help you tell your story, or give you a platform, the Closers platform, to tell your story.
Sure.
And I already learned something new about you today, which is, where were you born?
So I was born in Berlin, Germany.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd that come about?
So
well, not how'd that come.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
We know that can my father was in the military.
Okay.
Served 27 years. So
absolutely. Thank you.
Air Force, and so we moved around a lot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was born in Berlin on the U.S. side.
On the U.S. side, okay.
Before the wall came down.
Gotcha.
And then my mom is from England.
Okay.
So we moved back to England as I was 2.
Mm-hmm. So you don't have a lot of memories?
Not really. I did go to kindergarten in England, and the only thing I can remember is living in base housing, having to go over a hill to get to school.
Okay.
But then we moved from England to California.
Okay.
Where my
Dad's
was
still in the Air Force?
Reposted in Sunnyvale, California, in San Jose. And then he retired in 1976. Okay. And they said, well, if you're going to retire, Florida's where to do it.
Absolutely. And that's a good thing for our viewers that want to buy or sell real estate to know, if they're not in Florida, it's a good place to do it, right?
100%. Yep. So yeah, we moved here in 76 and right to Orlando. Mm-hmm. And my dad was in the insurance business. He worked for John Hancock. Mm-hmm. And so I used to...
Was he in sales or underwriter or what?
Yeah, no, he was an insurance salesman.
Okay.
You know, hitting the streets. Mm-hmm. And when I was little, I used to go to his office and obviously play at his desk and see everything he was doing. And as I got a little older, I started to get a real good understanding of what he did. Wow. I think it was 10.
It sounds like your dad, and I'm sure you've got stories about your mom too, but your dad created a real foundation for you, adaptability with the moving.
Oh, yeah.
And then watching him in a profession of sales. Yeah. Rubbed off?
Yeah, and I have to say, you know, he's up there looking down on me right now, saying, you know, way to go, son.
Yes.
But yeah, I really do believe I've got a lot of his traits when it comes to sales.
That's good. Foundational.
Yeah.
So you ended up after 10, 11, 12, and then your first career job was what?
Yeah. So started in retail and then got into outside sales. My dad, being in outside sales, said that's where you're going to make your money. Okay. So in copiers.
Okay, copiers.
Probably the hardest sale, I would like to think, out there. Where
Judy Riker works for us, and I'll have to make sure she sees this show. She's our top salesperson. Okay. And her husband, I'm almost positive guy, actually sold copiers as well. So I'll see her tonight for dinner, so I'm going to ask her about that.
So we definitely, as copier salesmen, you're not allowed to come back to the office until you get rid of your copier. Like we would have it in our back of our car.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
What's that movie with Will Smith on it?
Yeah, that's one of those medical devices.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But no. So, and when you brought the copier back, you couldn't ring the bell. Okay. So it's really crazy, but I did that for about 2 years.
So you're competitive.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Very. But it's, you know, I mean, you got 7 or 8 salesmen, saleswomen, and we're, you know, looking to see who's coming back with their copier and who's not.
Okay, and you stayed in that for 3 years, you said?
Yeah, about 2.5, 3 years.
And then what happened?
So I ended up, actually I was training somebody at a recruiting company. We were putting the copier in there, and the lady said to me, she goes, I really like what you're doing. Would you be interested in interviewing for a logistics company that we're looking for a sales rep? And I was training, so I'm like, oh no, I'm happy where I'm at.
Exactly.
I'm not moving. So I ended up calling and interviewed, and at the end of the day, I started working for a small outfit, a little freight forwarding company, air freight logistics. Started out in sales and then kind of moved myself up and was recruited to a larger company, and then ended up in a Fortune 500 company for about 18, 20 years.
Okay, and then?
So then I got the Fortune 500 company, you know, I got burnt out with corporate kind of telling me what to do.
How much traveling did you do too?
Did quite a bit. like 280 days a year I was on
Okay.
the road and got to see the world on somebody else's dime.
Right. So too corporate, too much traveling.
Yeah, it did cost me my first marriage probably, but I'm completely grateful for the fact that I have two incredible children. And from the logistics side, because I was getting burnt out, I thought, well, maybe I should do this on my own.
Right.
Joined with another gentleman, and we started a small business.
So you go from the corporate world to the small business world. And
wanted to be that entrepreneur,
Okay.
right? And thought I could do it, and still did not get the warm and fuzzies from it.
Okay. So
And
one day you're sitting on the couch at home with your new wife,
Yep.
your current
She
wife.
was my girlfriend at the time,
Absolutely.
and we had just actually started, we were dating, and I'm flipping through the channels as typical guys do with the remote.
Yes.
I'm like, nope, nope, nope. And we finally found this channel, Millionaire Listings. And I see these checks coming up.
Right.
Now, obviously, these are millionaire listings.
Because all realtors make
Right.
that kind of money, right?
Yeah, no. But needless to say, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And she turned to me and said, you could do that. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, I think you'd be really good at real estate. Never thought about it before.
I'm glad you married her.
I am too. Yeah. So she said, I know somebody that I think you should talk to. And at the time, she was, and she still is, an extremely mega agent in this industry, Jenny Weimert.
Wow.
with
We
the
all know
Weimert
who
Group.
Jenny is. Yes.
Absolutely. Love her dearly.
So you joined Jenny's team.
I did not. Thought so.
Okay.
Interviewed with her. Met with her, amazing conversation. She said, go get your license and then come back and talk to us.
Okay.
I hadn't even got my license at that time. Needless to say, finally got my license. We won't say how many time it took.
Doesn't matter. That's
Doesn't
one
matter.
thing we know about real estate.
Right?
It does not
Does not
matter how
matter.
long it takes you to get the
And
test.
it's because of my wife that I ended up getting my real estate license.
Good.
She pushed me into don't give up, right?
Your inner
And
circle is
that's-
important, right?
Absolutely. So came back, I did this disc profile, and I was very high D. And the next thing I find out is not a good fit for the Weimert Group. So
How'd that feel?
Yeah, I was a little taken back. But I thank Jenny today for what she did for me.
Because she knew more about
Yeah.
you than you knew.
I think so. So again, I kind of felt like, okay, I'm not going to give up, and let's go in as a single agent. Let's do this.
So you joined Keller Williams as a single
I
agent.
joined at Keller Williams actually on my birthday,
Okay.
and started out as a single agent and tried to get my feet grounded. And I was fortunate that I did surround myself with a lot of great agents that have become mentors of mine, and specifically ones that were willing to give me advice.
Well, and Jenny mentored you from the beginning just by saying this isn't a good fit.
Yes, and I didn't see that initially, but now I do.
Good.
But so I was trying to figure out what was my best way of lead generating, and ended up, because I came from a retail background, I thought open houses was a great way to start.
Okay.
So I shadowed quite a few agents, and got the good fit of what worked and what didn't work. And now today I teach open house classes.
Right. And how
And-
many your Brown Home Group, is it okay for me to ask you? It's a part of your recipe.
It is.
So how many open houses does your team do a week?
Yeah, so we are an open house team. I strictly feel that that's a huge way of lead generating.
Right.
And we do 2 to 4 a week.
Wow.
So again, door knocking is a nice way of lead generating, and cold calling on the phone. But for us, it has been through open houses.
And I would suggest to our viewers, whether you're a consumer wanting to list your home with someone or a realtor doing open houses, there's an art to it.
Yes.
There's an art to it. So there's a lot of preparation.
Yes.
There's a lot of work during, and there's a lot of work after if you're going to do them successfully.
85% is follow-up, and if you don't do it, it doesn't even matter how many hours you sit in the house.
Right.
So we always say that if you get one lead from an open house, that's a great open house.
Exactly.
So if you're doing 3, 4 a week, you could get 4 new potential opportunities to work with new buyers.
Good. And hopefully an opportunity for your seller that you have the listing for,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Well, good.
So I started as a single agent. I started doing these open houses. I closed my first open house, which 1% of agents do that in their lifetime. I've done it 9 times. So that's pretty
And when you
pretty
say
cool.
closed your own open house.
So I brought the buyer to the open house.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
So I felt like this is a great opportunity to continue to do open houses. And one of my mentors Ray Lopez.
Ray Lopez.
He
Also a
he
fine
got
man.
amazing, and he got wind of it and asked me to do an open house for him, which I guess at the time he had been a couple open houses and was not getting anywhere.
Right.
Asked me to do it, and I actually brought the...
And you were still a single agent?
I was. But when Ray Lopez said, hey, will you help me out? You help him out.
Exactly.
Right? But what's funny is he didn't tell me he lived next door to the open house that I did. So when I'm doing the open house, he could actually see
the
people
traffic,
coming
the preparation.
in. Exactly. The flag going up, all the work that I put into it. And then I called him and told him, hey, I've got a potential buyer. And he embraced it. He mentored me through the whole process of writing the offer and putting the contract in. And that's kind of where they say a match made in heaven. We I became part of his team and became his lead buyer agent in about a year.
Wow.
And I was with him for almost 3 years.
Okay.
So I really do feel that Ray was a huge instrument for
So you were willing
springboarding
to
me
be mentored
100%.
by him.
Absolutely.
And still tell me now, currently in your role, because you have the Brown Home Group, who are your mentors now? Or do you have them or you don't need them anymore?
No. I think you always need mentors. And I think that embracing as many as you can is only going to make, it's like a toolbox for success.
Right.
And so I take things from Jenny today. I have the opportunity to meet with her, talk to her. She's has her open door policy kind of thing.
That's great.
And so does Ray. So I'm fortunate that I have Ray in my office that anytime I need.
So Jenny saw that you were a leader.
Yeah.
And she knew the reason why you weren't good for her team and she wasn't good for you is you needed the independence to be a leader.
Yeah, she told me, she's like, you want to be me.
Right.
And so obviously there are different makeups of personalities that make leaders.
Right.
And then ones that are better suited to be on a team to become a leader.
Right.
Which is what I'm building. My team is...
So now you're a mentor. And you've always been, I'm sure, at some level.
Right.
From the time you were at the selling copiers with the recruit, right? Or at the recruiting place with a new trainee. You were mentoring then.
100%.
So you now mentor your team.
I do, and agents within the market center. I have an open door policy, which I learned from Ray and Jenny and other top agents in our office. And again, to just give back. You know, I mean, it's really about that within our culture.
Right, generosity.
And not just in Keller Williams, but my door is open for all real estate agents that are trying to get in this business, because we know that, you know, the first year, so many agents fall short and don't make it. Right.
What did we say? What percentage don't make it? What's the statistic?
I think it was like 87%.
Yeah, 87% first year.
So it's pretty high. So it is surrounding yourself with great leaders, great mentors, and because of that, now I'm able to give back and provide that ambassadorship within the real estate world.
What makes you a good mentee?
Being willing to listen. I think take criticism.
Right.
Whether it be positive or negative, right? And apply.
Right.
So the lessons that you learn and apply them. I always say to my team, it's copy and paste. A lot of it is in this business, but it's your personality.
Right.
So take what I
you have to be genuine, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think with providing the lessons that I've learned, I've been able to pass those on, which I hope my team will pass them on to new members, either joining our team or if they end up going on to bigger and better things.
Why does Keller Williams work for you? Or why do you work for it, or vice versa?
So far as...
You talked a little bit before we came on air about their programs and what they teach and their classes.
Yeah.
So is that, what I was leading you to was a lot of people have joined one real estate, 1%, so in the first year, 87% fail. But I'd also suggest a lot of people join Keller Williams, they're not successful in the same environment that you've been successful. So I was really leading you to... You've been successful in that environment because...
And it is about training and the education that you need to get in your first year.
Right.
I mean, you can be really good in sales, but you really have to have the knowledge of real estate. And so obviously there's a ton of books. Gary Keller has written a ton of books. The Millionaire... the Red Book, as they call it, right? The MREA book, it's great. The One book. I mean, there are a lot of books out there that add a lot of value. I'm not one to read,
Right.
but I learn by surrounding myself with those type individuals,
Right.
those leaders.
Yeah. And I again just wanted to focus for a minute about that environment because you're a good mentee.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
provided all the tools. There can be somebody sitting right next to you that the tools are provided to. They're not successful because they're not
Yeah.
a good mentee.
And I'm still willing to embrace it. You know, obviously people say where I rank in this business.
Yeah, where
but
do you rank in the? I heard somebody said in the top 20%.
Yeah, so I'm actually
Go
a little
ahead.
higher than that.
Go ahead, you're humble.
Well, so when you certain volumes, you rank in a certain area in
Right.
Central Florida. So I'm at 1%.
1%. And I said in jest 20% because
It's hard
I
for
really,
me to.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's hard for me to say that because I think that I'm always growing, and in this business. And it's funny, I'm 51, crazy as it is,
Yes.
but I've only been in the business 4.5 years. So, you know, there are a lot of people at my age that are now just starting to get out of the business
Right.
or give up the business for travel, and I don't think I'll ever probably give it this business. I don't feel like this is a job.
Right, you love it.
Oh, it's a passion.
It's a passion.
And it really has to be successful.
Exactly.
It's that recipe.
So first of all, compliment you on your humility. And I believe that's part of the reason why you're still very successful. But at the same time, you come in with such a high level of confidence. Tim was saying before we got on the show something about your bet on yourself over and over again. You believe in yourself. So you're humble,
Yeah.
yet you believe in yourself. How does that work within you to stay so humble, yet to have the confidence just to kill it because you're in the top 1%?
Yeah, I think you have to. I mean, for me, there are agents out there that work 5 hours a day and don't understand why they can't be as successful as somebody who works 8 hours a day.
How many do you work a day?
Probably 12.
12 hours a day.
But I have that ability to do that. I mean, there's a lot of individuals that are single mothers that are still crushing it in this business, and it's really what you want to get out of it. I mean, for me, I'm fortunate that I do have a wife that is extremely.
It was her idea.
It was. So I blame her.
Exactly.
No. But she gives me that opportunity to do what I need.
She believes in you.
100%. Yeah, and I think for her, it's us. It's an us factor. She's actually my confidant, my partner in crime when it comes to this team and this business, our success and our failures.
Right.
Because it's not all about the success as it is learning from those failures and falling forward. And that's, we do.
And one of our viewers caught you just gave them marriage advice too.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's understanding the. I mean, for her, I don't even know how many wives would put up with what I do because coming in late, leaving early.
Right.
I'm hoping for the future.
Right.
Right. But again, like I said, I get up and go to work, and it's not work. So.
You love what you do.
I love the people I work with. And again, getting back to the mentee, to even call myself a mentor is kind of hard to say.
Really?
Yeah,
Because you're still absorbing so much from the people that you admire?
Absolutely. And again, I look up to a lot of the top agents, not only at Keller Williams, but within this industry.
Right.
And so anytime I can absorb and, like you said, be a sponge, it doesn't matter how long you've been in this business. It's those ones that take the other side of it and shut their phone off and aren't providing that customer service, that attentiveness, because we have to differentiate ourselves because real estate agents are like roaches. We're everywhere.
Right.
So what do I do as Rick Brown, the Brown Home Group, our team, to add that value?
Yeah, what do you do?
So we go above and beyond the sale.
Right.
And it's
Are those just words? Because that sounds a little wordish.
It is a little, yeah. But for me, we really live by it. Because after you sell a home with us or buy a home with us, it's not just about the sale. We want to build you as part of our Brown Home Group family.
Right.
And the after. They say that you're going to buy 5 homes in your lifetime.
Right.
So if that's your first one, it's your first time home buyer, then I got you for 4 more.
Right.
And I'm going to make sure of it, because if I don't, then I didn't do my job.
And you've got them for 4 more because you add such immense value, they need you.
Yeah.
And they rely on you.
We constantly pour that in, obviously, with the different things that a lot of agents shy upon, they don't do, or they don't, continue to follow up, which is a huge aspect of our business.
Your sphere Does any of it come from your travel that you traveled when you were traveling internationally?
Yeah. So when I first got into this business, I looked at my Facebook, how many people were in it, and then my database.
Right.
And they said, oh, you need to have at least 300 Mets to get really solid in this business. And I had like 3,000 all international.
Wow.
And they said, well, that's actually business that you could tap into. And so I have. So
You're paying attention in class, aren't you?
Yeah, those classes definitely have helped pay off.
I also think you've taken, you could focus, some people would focus on, I had this career, I traveled too much, I had a failed marriage, I traveled too much, all of these things, it was too corporate, but you've been able to take that experience and find a way to add value to your life now.
Yeah, I think with everything that knocks you down, something's going to help pick you back up.
Obstacles, you talked about obstacles.
And I've learned along the way. Not to go back into a marriage thing. I know we're going into Valentine's Day.
Right.
But I do feel like I met my right person.
Right.
The second time around.
Yeah.
So and so I feel like I've met my career second time around.
Right.
I thought logistics was it for me. That many years, but real estate is where.
Can you define the word ambassador for me?
Yeah, I think obviously leading by example, being a mentor, and somebody that leads in this business, especially as an ambassador, because obviously an ambassador can be in all aspects of your life, but in the real estate world, it's definitely leading through learning. We learn, and then I kind of like say give back. Yeah, so. And how we lead is how people are going to perceive us. And so obviously in this business, it's not just about keeping a good reputation with our clients, but also within the industry. Wow. I want to know that agents respect me and how I handle my business and how I handle, what I do in this industry.
That's
wonderful. My legacy. That's what I want to leave.
Right. So you're an ambassador, you're a mentee, you're a mentor, you're working on a legacy, you're a leader.
You say mentor, and I'm like,
I know.
It's hard to swallow that.
Right.
But that being said, yeah, there are new agents that come in, and I'm more than willing to
mentor
help
them.
Yeah.
Mentor. I'm going to get you a shirt that says Rick Brown, the mentor.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a hard challenge right now.
Okay.
We've been on the show now about 22, 23 minutes. The time flies, as I said it would. But as a mentor, what one piece of advice would you give our viewers if they wanted to get into real estate? Well,
before I do that, I do want to give a shout out to my team.
Good.
And it's like we're like the Brady's bunch. I can't know if I can go through them all.
Yeah.
But Joe, Stephanie. See, I knew I was going to screw this up.
Yeah. Well, we got Joe, we got Stephanie.
Yeah.
We've got time. Michael.
Sorry, guys. I'm getting a brain fart. Michael, Janine, David. My assistant Maria, who's amazing. We also have Blaine, who is my social media.
Yes.
But he also recently got his license.
Oh, congratulations, Blaine.
Yep. And then we also have a UCF intern, Allie.
Oh, Allie, good.
And
you named your whole team?
I don't know if I did.
Yeah.
Now I'm really confused.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
It's okay. If he missed you,
if I missed you,
he still loves you.
Oh, Bryce.
Bryce. Okay, Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce is one of the newest members on the team.
Okay, good.
So that's probably why.
So shout out to your team.
Yes. So thanks, guys. I appreciate everything. But if I had to say one nugget about mentoring or being a mentee,
right?
It's definitely embrace the successes of other agents around you. I think because I think we can take that and as I usually say, a toolbox, and take little bits of all those successes and those opportunities, whether it be positive or negative criticism. Just embrace it.
Embrace it.
Yeah.
Embrace. So many nuggets here. And I'm going to ask you, 20 million?
Yeah,
Tell me about that
2019.
number. 2019.
Yep.
So if you viewers think Rick Brown's so humble, just put in the little comments down there. Rick, shout it out a little bit more about yourself, because that's amazing. 5 years in, 2019, 20 million, you're building a team, and you said something, and then we're going to wrap this show up today. You said something that if you had to do it again, your team would not be called Brown Home Group.
Right. Yeah,
Why not?
just because it's not about me.
Right.
And the team will say that I get very frustrated when somebody says the Rick Brown team or the Rick Brown Home Group. It's the Brown Home Group. I can't win without these guys, and we are a team. So we win together or we lose together. We fail. We never fail. We learn.
Fail forward. You talked about
fail
that.
forward always.
Okay.
And so, yeah, if I could go back and think of it, what would I call us? The excellent group team or something? I don't know.
Something like that.
But
Well, the Brown Home Group was here today, represented by Rick Brown, but made up by Minnie. And I'm so excited that you were finally able to make it. And you usually couldn't make it because you were servicing your customers and your clients, and that's an amazing part of you too. So I'm going to be shouting your name out wherever I can, because you're not shouting your name out enough, although you're doing an amazing job in our industry. So I believe it has more to do with you than you think it does.
Well, I appreciate that. And I want to say to you that I think this is a great show, that obviously with people humble like myself, that to put us on here and allow us to tell our story, and maybe something that I've said today, you out there as a new real estate agent can definitely take from this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Susan West with the Closers Platform. Again, a show about closers, for closers, with closers. And I will be back again next Thursday, and you'll just have to wait to see who my guest is then. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.